This wheat sheaf is guaranteed to give your get-together an extra dose of the wow factor. For the wheat sheaf, you will need 1.5 pounds of dough, and I prefer working with the dough that's made with half whole wheat flour. So this is 1.5 pounds of dough, and you divide it into 18 equal pieces. And each piece is rolled to a different length. You will need 2 12-inch pieces. And when I roll a rope of dough, I like to roll it from the center out. And this will produce a nice even rope. So you will need 2 12-inch pieces of dough rolled in a rope, 8 15-inch ropes, and 8 18-inch ropes, and a lightly greased baking sheet. You begin by taking one of the 18-inch ropes and placing it in the center of the baking sheet. And to form the heads, you turn and bend the rope down. Then you take another 18-inch rope and place that beside the other one, bending to form the heads of the wheat. And you continue this, placing the 18-inch ropes side by side. So there we have our 18-inch ropes, and now it's time to use up our 15-inch ropes. And you place one 15-inch rope on each side and just continue bending the ropes so they form their heads. And then we have a few ropes left, and those will go on top, and you just kind of place them to cover up these spaces in between the bottom ropes. This gives it some dimension. There, so we've used up all of our ropes, and you can see it's starting to look like a wheat sheaf. And then with the 12-inch ropes, you can roll those out, make sure they're smooth, and then you twist them together. Just kind of slightly twist them, and then you place the rope in the center of the wheat sheaf. And you can see we have too much dough here, so we'll just cut a little bit of that off. We leave about a 1-inch overhang and pinch the ends together and just tuck those ends underneath the wheat sheaf, and that will form that decorative braid. So you can pinch those, kind of pinch that underneath the loaf. And so all you have to do now is just cover it up and let your wheat sheaf rise for about 30 minutes or until it's about double in size. The dough has doubled in size. Now it's time to make the clips for the wheat heads. And I like to use the smaller scissors to do this step. And you just make diagonal cuts in the ropes, just being very carefully. Make the clips at an angle, and this will form the wheat heads. And this gives a lot of texture to the wheat sheaf, and it actually ends up looking like a head of wheat. So the wheat heads have been clipped, and now it's time to brush the wheat sheaf with egg wash. And I'm using 1 whole egg and 1 tablespoon of cold water. You just mix it together and then brush this egg wash on the wheat sheaf. Being really careful to brush it over the entire surface, because if you leave some of it unbrushed, then it will be dull in appearance. The egg wash will add a nice gloss to the sheaf of wheat. So now you just place it in a preheated 350-degree oven and let it bake for about 20 to 25 minutes. And this is a very important tip that I have. You often have to tint with foil the outer edges of the wheat sheaf so they don't become overly brown. Once a wheat sheaf has been baked, remove it from the pan and place it on a cooling rack. And when it's time to serve it, just slice it and serve it in strips. If you wish to use the wheat sheaf as a decoration, then just lower the oven temperature after it's been baked to about 250 degrees and bake for an additional 15 minutes to help dry it out. Then remove it to a cooling rack and let it cool overnight or even for a day to dry out. And I like to use a photo holder to help display the wheat sheaf. This symbolic wheat sheaf not only has eye appeal, but it tastes good too.